This week on The Week Ahead, hear from ALG President Bill Wilson on the debt ceiling. Plus, we look at what Reid says to cover for his spending addiction. Welcome to The Week Ahead. I'm Frank McCaffrey. It seems apparent that our nation is being forced to raise its debt ceiling. While this may seem like the worst thing to do, the alternative is to default. For more on this, we're joined by Americans for Limited Government President Bill Wilson. Bill, are the Democrats in power forcing us into economic peril?
I don't think they intend to force us into financial catastrophe, but they sure are heading us in that direction. We have a huge and very simple fight going on in D.C. Everyone knows that we have to deal with this impending debt ceiling increase request from the president. We have a deficit this year that's going to force us to borrow an additional $1.5 trillion and then borrow another $1 trillion next year just to cover the commitments that Congress and Obama have already made. And so we're at a point where if we're going to increase this borrowing authority, then we have to send a signal that we're willing to get our house in order. Democrats are saying, no, we're not going to do that unless you agree to big tax increases. And so they have created a situation where John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, the Republicans in general, and really the American people, the American family, cannot agree with them without sinking us back into a very deep economic recession.
Bill, Senator Reid says we can't make $2 trillion in cuts. Here's a special look at him and how he tries to say that things are going to get better.
In the years to come, we're directed toward a balanced budget. We've done it before. It wasn't long ago that President Clinton was president. We had 4 years of balanced budget. That's where we need to go again.
Despite what he is trying to lead you to believe, Democratic Senate Majority Leader Reid of Nevada is such a big fan of spending that he apparently didn't like when Speaker of the House John Boehner put this idea out there.
Without significant spending cuts and changes in the way we spend the American people's money, there will be no increase in the debt limit.
Reid rejected this concept, saying you can't do $2 trillion in cuts. There has to be a mix of spending cuts, including defense. There has to be a more fair apportionment of tax policy in this country. Reid has a surplus of ways to talk himself into spending more.
And in the process of doing the cutting of government programs, we have to do it very carefully. We can't do it with a meat axe. We have to be very careful. The programs that work, let's continue those. The programs that need a little shot in the arm to do even better, to create more jobs, we can do that. The programs that don't work, cut them or get rid of them.
And when he talks about places he supposedly wants to cut, he breaks out standard lines from the left.
It doesn't have to all come from discretionary spending, which is only a small percentage of our budget. We've got to look at defense spending. We've got to look at mandatories like agricultural programs. We have to look at revenues to find out the oil companies that are getting all these subsidies, do they need those? Probably not.
Bill, your thoughts on this?
I mean, Reid is proving that he knows less about economics than he does about integrity, which would have been hard on my boat to cover, to think that he could have hit that. But, look, he's the guy, for example, that says, let's increase the costs on the oil companies, and that will lower the price of gas. Nowhere else in America except inside Reid's mind can you increase the costs of producing something and then have a lower price at the end of the day. This is the same type of fantasy economics that they're applying to the debt ceiling.
Thank you very much, Bill. The national debt has gone up approximately $6 trillion since Reid was sworn in as Senate Majority Leader in 2007. And that's all the time we have for The Week Ahead. Please join us again next time.